Chapter 17. Nick turned to Adelmo, his voice filled with a mix of frustration and concern. "You know, I couldn't help but notice that you went to the crime scene last night, the one I was supposed to investigate. It seems that the people there got spooked by a suspicious figure lurking in their backyard and decided to take matters into their own hands. When I arrived shortly after you left, I knocked on their door and asked to hear their account of what happened. That's when they mentioned this guy who was sneaking around their property for some unknown reason. Without hesitation, they grabbed a baseball bat and struck him on the head." Curiosity piqued, Nick inquired further. "I asked them if the guy was still there and if I could see him. They confirmed that he was indeed in their backyard. So, I made my way around the house, only to find out that the person they had attacked was none other than you, Adelmo. Thankfully, I managed to convince them that I knew you and persuaded them not to press charges. After that, I helped you into my car, and once I had finished my investigation, I brought you back home. And that's how you ended up here." Nick's tone softened as he continued, "But, Adelmo, next time you decide to check out a crime scene, try to be a bit more cautious or clever about it. It's important to remember that this is police business, and we need to approach it with the utmost care and professionalism." Adelmo, rubbing his throbbing head, responded with a hint of regret. "No wonder my head hurts so much. I should have known better than to think you would let me see what was going on at the crime scene. It's understandable, though. I realize now that it's your duty as a police officer to handle these matters." Nick nodded in agreement. "Exactly, Adelmo. It's our responsibility to ensure the safety of everyone involved and to maintain the integrity of the investigation. So, next time, let's make sure we handle things differently and prioritize the proper procedures." Adelmo pondered, realizing that his initial plan had been flawed. "I should have come up with a better strategy," he admitted, frustration evident in his voice. From the outside, it seemed like no one was home. But now, let's focus on the task at hand. Did you notice anything peculiar about this crime scene?" Nick, with a hint of resignation, replied, "Honestly, they were just like the others we've encountered before. It wasn't really surprising." The two of them stood in silence for a moment, contemplating the similarities between this crime and the ones they had investigated in the past. Feeling the urgency to wrap things up, Adelmo interrupted the silence. "All right, I need to get going and attend to some other matters. But before I leave, I have one quick question for you. Tomorrow is Mardi Gras, and I'm curious if anything will be different this year. Will there be an increased police presence, or will it be the same as every year?" Nick's response was filled with a sense of uncertainty. Given the recent string of strange occurrences, the department is taking extra precautions. They're planning to deploy additional personnel to ensure the safety of the event. It seems like they want to keep a close eye on everything that's happening. As they parted ways, Adelmo couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and concern. The upcoming Mardi Gras celebration held the promise of excitement, but the heightened security measures hinted at an underlying unease. With their minds still occupied by the mysteries they were trying to solve, the detectives couldn't help but wonder if the festivities would be marred by unforeseen events. In an effort to prioritize safety and prevent any potential harm, they took every precaution necessary. Adelmo bid farewell, assuring the other person that they would continue their conversation later. Nick reciprocated the sentiment, and they parted ways. As Adelmo approached the door, an unexpected wave of dizziness washed over him, causing him to lose his balance momentarily. Concerned, he quickly found a seat and concentrated on regaining his equilibrium. The incident left Adelmo with a nagging feeling that the day ahead might be challenging. Reflecting on the situation, he realized that he needed to approach things with a touch of cunning in order to navigate the obstacles that lay ahead. After a brief pause, Adelmo's senses returned, and he slowly made his way towards his beloved bookstore. Despite the lingering effects of his momentary dizziness, Adelmo embarked on his journey to the bookstore. However, his ability to concentrate on the road proved to be quite challenging. Nevertheless, he persevered and eventually arrived at his destination. Stepping inside, he was greeted by the sight of Lana diligently organizing the newly arrived books. The atmosphere was filled with the scent of fresh pages and the quiet rustling of paper. Adelmo couldn't help but feel a sense of comfort and familiarity wash over him as he observed Lana's dedication to her work. It was a reminder of the passion and love that he shared for his own bookstore. As Adelmo entered the bookstore, he couldn't help but feel a sense of tranquility envelop him. The shelves were lined with books of various genres, each one holding a world of knowledge and imagination within its pages. Lana, his trusted companion, was meticulously arranging the newly arrived books, ensuring that each one found its rightful place. Adelmo admired her dedication and commitment to their shared passion. Despite the challenges he had faced earlier, being in the presence of books and the familiar surroundings of the store brought a sense of solace to Adelmo's weary soul. He knew that no matter how rough the day might turn out to be, the sanctuary of the bookstore would always provide him with a refuge from the outside world. Adelmo approached Lana with a warm smile, greeting her with a friendly hi. He was eager to know if there were any messages for him, hoping for some news or updates. Lana, who was busy organizing the books, paused for a moment and replied, "Yes, there was actually a message from your grandfather. He asked if you could give him a call later." Lana had taken the initiative to inform Adelmo about the message, knowing that he would appreciate it. She continued, "I thought you could do that, so I promised him that I would pass on the message when I saw you. Here you go." As Lana finished her task, she turned her attention towards Adelmo and was taken aback by what she saw. Shocked, she exclaimed, "Holy crap, what the hell happened to your head?" Her concern was evident as she noticed the visible injuries on Adelmo's head. Adelmo, feeling disoriented and exhausted, managed to find a seat and replied, "I was mugged. There was a group of them, and before I knew it, I found myself unconscious on the sidewalk." Adelmo chose to fabricate a story, not wanting to reveal the truth about his activities. He felt it was necessary to keep his actions a secret, even if it meant lying about the incident. In this situation, Adelmo's interaction with Lana was filled with warmth and familiarity. Lana took the time to inform Adelmo about the message from his grandfather, showing her thoughtfulness and consideration. However, the atmosphere quickly changed when Lana noticed the injuries on Adelmo's head. Her shock and concern were genuine, reflecting the strong bond between them. Adelmo, on the other hand, felt the need to conceal the truth about his activities, opting for a fabricated story instead. This decision was driven by his desire to keep his actions hidden, even if it meant lying to someone he trusted.